Welcome to Live Life Better. This is Scott Eastwood. I want you to live the best version of your life. We're all human beings, all just trying to figure it out. Find something you love and chase it. We talked to Nina Dobrev today. For those who don't know her, she's an actress, doing all kinds of cool, positive things, exemplifying health and wellness, travel. We talked about the year that she said yes to everything and just went and didn't have a plan. We talked about her immigrating to the United States and what that was like. She's got a great story, super positive person, and just all around good human. So check it out. I hope you enjoy.
I'm gonna give you some direction. Give me your map, Scott.
So you were talking about your sitcom, and you were talking about the nerves before the show.
Yeah. You were making fun of me.
No,
what they missed is that you were making fun of me and said that I don't ever. Well, I said I don't get nervous doing podcasts, and then you made fun of me and said that I'm impervious to nerves, and I corrected you and told you about the sitcom. That's how that conversation happened. For those of you at home who are listening and wanted to know how we started talking about this.
What is doing a sitcom like?
It's kind of like doing theater.
Okay.
You've never done one, right?
Theater I've done, but not a sitcom.
So you kind of would get it then. It's very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Live audience, 300 people, except instead of rehearsing for, I don't know, I've never done theater, so I don't know how long the pre-production is. How long do you guys rehearse for? For like 4 to 6?
Yeah, month.
Okay. So we do it in 5 days or 4 days. And then on the 5th day, we put on a show.
So you feel like that's enough time? Like to find it all and figure it out?
For a sitcom, it is, because it's only 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Or 22 minutes after commercials. But for play, obviously, you need a lot more. And for plays, you don't have the opportunity of reshooting anything or doing a second take. So you do need a lot more time. For us, we do maybe 2, potentially 3 takes if it doesn't go well. And the audience, if you make a mistake, the audience sees it, but it does happen. Somebody might mess up a line or somebody might swear. And so we have to go back, and occasionally if a joke, like, you'll know immediately if a joke lands or if it doesn't land, if it's not working, the writers will be sitting behind the camera and come up with a new line, and they'll fly it in, whisper in your ear, and then you have to test the new line for the first time in front of the live audience. So There is room for error, and things are changing all the time. You really have to be malleable and be able to kind of, that was the hardest part for me.
Really?
Yeah, because in single cam, you read the script, you prep the script all night, like for months, you get ready, and then the night before or a few nights before, you memorize to a T. And I pride myself on being very prepped.
Yeah.
So on the pilot of the show, when we got there, I had prepped it. It went well, but then that night they sent me a new script. And then the next day I prepped that script, but they fly in jokes, and then they change it, and then you get a new, basically every single night you get a new script, and you can't, they eventually sat me down and were like, look, after rehearsal today, can you please call your friends and go get drunk? Like, don't memorize, don't work on it. We need you to be like a sponge and absorb it and roll with the punches. And that was so freeing, and I was so happy to get that note, because it really did help, and it made me realize I could memorize very quickly once.
Yeah.
But I guess
you're seasoned, like you have that, once you do that like a lot, once you work that muscle a lot of like memorizing things, I feel like it just picks up a lot faster.
Yeah, when it's good writing, it also
true
helps.
Very true.
Because it makes sense.
Yeah.
And once you figure out who your character is, it also it just makes sense that they would think or say or do what they're saying.
Yeah. We're nerding out on acting.
When you're hungover, you give less of a fuck too.
That's true. That's true.
That is true. But it also makes you a little less sharp. I didn't do that on a nightly basis.
Right.
I took their note, but I didn't follow it to a T. I went and had lunch with my friends and watched movies and that kind of stuff.
But you did just turn 30, and you probably were really hungover then.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry I couldn't make your birthday.
You're a terrible friend.
Well, when you speak the truth, you know.
He has no rebuttal.
How does it feel?
It feels very different and yet exactly the same. It sounds weirder to say it out loud, and the idea of 30 to me.
What was your idea of 30?
It just sounded like death.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, 16, 17-year-old me thought 30 was archaic, and I'm perpetually stuck in that mindset, I guess. And I have lived my life as though I'm 16, 17 and invincible and do crazy things and run around and jump off planes and all kinds of things. And so the idea of 30 to me felt like that's like a landmark or a benchmark for having to settle down.
Having to die?
Is that me?
Oh, no, it was me. Sorry.
It's okay.
I left the thing on because I wanted to hear your call. That's my sister.
All good.
I should tell her. I'm in the middle of a podcast. I love you, Franny, but I'll call you back.
But I'll call you back.
Love you.
What kind of planes were you jumping out of? Why were you jumping out of planes? Just for fun, or?
Yeah. The first time I did it was in Oahu in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And the first time we did it was because I was in my what I call yes year or fuck it year, and I wanted to try to not say no to anything if I could. Aside from hard drugs and rape and all kinds of bad things, but like
right.
the
it's
PG
good to draw
things.
the line somewhere.
Yeah.
It's good to know you have some moral ground. It's nice.
But my parents basically told us you could do anything in the world, just please don't jump out of a plane because it's stupid and why? Like there's no reason. It's just you're risking your life for no reason. And so of course during my yes year, I called my brother and booked him a flight, and he met me in Hawaii. We jumped out of a plane.
I mean, parents aren't wrong.
They're not. No, you're right.
Yeah. I've done it many times, and it is jumping out of an airplane.
There's a risk, yeah.
Yeah. It's fun. It's cool.
You're less safe doing that than you are on the ground, but you're also not experienced. I don't know. I'm an advocate for doing fun, stupid things.
So, wait, but hold on. Where did that come from? Because I was going to ask you, one of the questions I wanted to ask you is like, you do seem like you, or as of lately, you have lived like this really adventurous spirit, right? Like you have this adventure spirit. Like I'm going to try everything. I'm going to embrace new things. I'm going to embrace change. I'm going to embrace being out of my comfort zone. And that, would you say that, is that when it started? Is that, or have you
During
always been that way? Yeah.
I've always been that way to a degree, but I also am very, and I don't know if this is an every person thing or if it's a me thing. A big theme in my life has been balancing. I'm extremely focused on work, and I have a lot of goals that I want to achieve. And at the same time, I want to live life to its fullest ability and try everything. And they don't always coincide. So if I'm on a trip, I'll feel a little bit guilty that I should be working. And then when I'm working, I'm fulfilled, but I'm also like something's pulling me to go somewhere and try something different. And I always threaten to like quit the industry and just become a nomad backpacker.
You and me both, sister.
But then I know too that if I did that, I'd probably yearn for work and want to go back as well. So it's always been in me, but I think I've been working on balancing both, trying to find a space for both in my life.
So this yes year was just because you were turning 30 and you were like, screw it, I'm going to
This was 6 years ago. That was when I was 24.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that yes year was... Okay. So you've just been saying yes for the last 6 years now.
Yes and no.
No?
I mean, I still, that year in particular, like I took time off and traveled for a long time. I did a lot of silly things, and I've tamed, I'm a lot tamer now.
What were the silly
those
things?
itch.
Yeah, what were the yeses?
On that trip in particular, a friend of mine and I decided to not plan anything, because in the film industry, as you know, Scott, when you go to set, every minute of every day is scheduled. I'm talking every second. They know when the sun is going to set. They know when a storm is going to come in. They know when you're going to, by the end of the film, they know when you're pooping and peeing, and like what your schedule, like when you, in the women's cases, like when you have your period. Like they know every little detail about everything. And so when I wrapped on the show that I was on at the time, I wanted to do the exact opposite. And I took 3 months, and all we could do was book a flight, but once we landed in said destination, we wouldn't have a hotel, a car, or anything booked. We'd get in a taxi, we'd ask the taxi driver where he thought the coolest place was at that moment. He would drop us off, and then we'd figure it out from there. And
awesome.
Then once we had spent enough time, whatever we deemed was enough time at that location, we would then just book a flight for the next location. And after 3 months, we started in Cabo and ended up in Japan. So it was
a good trip.
That's the kind of.
So no itinerary at all. You just hopped on a plane, start in Cabo, and then where you feel like going.
Yeah, we'd meet people in different places, and those people would tell us about another place that was cool, and then we'd go there, and we were backpacking the whole time. So like I can't really do that anymore. I'm too old.
You could do it.
Having a hotel's nice too.
Yeah.
When you get somewhere, especially when you get to a place and they're like, no, all the hotels are sold out, and you're like, uh-oh.
That happened a couple times.
Yeah, that can happen.
We threatened to sleep on the beach, which we were actually okay with doing, or at that point there was 3 of us girls, or like find a guy to go home with so that we had somewhere to stay.
That
Speaking
wouldn't
of
have
yes.
been that hard.
we ended up finding a place last minute. So we didn't have to do either.
I love that those were
two things.
options though. They're like, okay, shit, we got to get brass tacks, girls. Like, there's 3 of us. We're gonna take over like an army of Persians.
Somebody's falling on the sword.
That a double meaning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Entendre, I believe it's called.
It's true. So, you're from Bulgaria.
Mm-hmm. You've been there. You just shot a movie there.
I did. I was there for 2 months.
Let's talk about that. How was your experience?
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
It's gotten a lot better over the last 5 years. I feel like significantly over the last 5 years.
Really?
Yeah. My parents left when the wall fell, so a long time ago. But I would go back every year to visit my grandparents, and literally over the kind of like a kid, when you don't see your kid for 2 or 3 months, or however long, like even a week, you can see them visibly getting bigger.
Sure.
But when you're with them, you don't see the little things changing.
Yeah.
I got to see Bulgaria kind of leave the communist regime and sort of start to grow and
Have its own identity.
yeah, and the economy has gone up a lot. It was this past Christmas I went, and it was a lot. It had changed a lot for the better. It was great.
So your parents left when the wall came down,
Mm-hmm.
and you were how old?
I was little, 2 maybe.
And you moved to Canada?
Mm-hmm.
So you moved to Canada. Your parents, do they speak English? Or did they at that time?
They spoke broken English, but very, very little at the time. Yeah, it was a very ambitious move.
That's cool. I mean, it's
With 2
awesome.
kids.
Though. That's truly immigrating, really. And you're really first generation, like here, well, Canada, I guess, but now American,
Yeah.
right?
Not yet. No.
Not yet.
No, I'm a green card holder, proud
Oh, okay.
green card holder. Excuse me. And yeah, in order to become an American citizen, I would have to give up one of my other 2 passports.
Oh.
So,
Do you want to be an American citizen?
is Trump still president?
Last I checked. Yeah.
Well, then we'll have to revisit this conversation in 2 to 6 years.
Okay.
Depending on how everything goes.
So tell me what that was like. I mean, just walk me through like your early childhood. You all you know is Canada, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you traveling back every year to see your grandparents? Is that a big part of your life?
Yeah, my parents said that they wanted us to go back to Bulgaria every summer so that we can hold on to our roots and make sure we didn't forget the language. And I believed it up until probably a year ago when I realized that they would send us to Bulgaria for that reason, and all of my other friends would go to camp for 2 months because parents just want the kids away so they can have some
alone time.
Wham bam, thank you, ma'am time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, I would go back every year, and it was very different. It was great because I got to see the world and I got to see different cultures and different ways of life in a way that a lot of my North American friends, it's a little insulated and not a lot of people understand that there's a world outside of North America, which is both good and bad. But I really liked it, and I want to do that with my kids someday.
It's cool.
Ship them off to different places so I can have some alone time with my husband. Oh, and I guess they'll like learn something about culture and stuff.
Yeah. Stuff. Things. We'll learn some things. So you go back and forth every year. You live in Canada. What's that like? I mean, where in Canada? What?
Toronto. In the suburbs of Toronto, an area called Scarborough.
Okay. And that's like what? What's an analogy that's like here?
Maybe Glendale?
Okay.
In distance to like West Hollywood, not necessarily vibe. I don't know LA well enough to compare it. It was a little rough around the edges, depending on where and when you were in certain places.
Okay. What kind of childhood did you have? I mean, were your parents? I mean, you know, what were they doing for work? What does this look like?
At first, my dad had many different small jobs, under the table jobs that paid cash because he wasn't a legal
immigrant.
He wasn't a resident. So he worked at a gas station as a pumper. He was a pizza delivery guy. My mom did odd jobs too, and then eventually, computers and technology started to. That's right around when they started to release different forms of technology in that way, and he started to study computers and kind of worked his way up in that world and is now a computer specialist.
Really? So he went back to school.
Kind of.
Worked as a self-taught?
Yeah, these are all really great questions that
that you should ask your
that I
parents.
should probably ask my dad. I was little and was focusing on learning English myself. And so I don't, the ins and outs of computers. I remember there was lots of computers everywhere, like broken parts or like pieces.
So he's a computer scientist. He's a mad wizard.
He's really smart in that world, and it made me really dumb in that world. Mm-hmm. Because when your dad does it really well, you don't have to learn. You're just like, Dad, this doesn't work, fix it. And he's like, okay.
Okay.
And he did. So I barely know how to work my iPhone.
Okay. Only child?
No, I have an older brother.
Older brother.
Yep.
Okay. And you go to school. You live in Canada. Yeah.
So I was a gymnast and a dancer, and kind of tried everything. And my brother was the smarter one. He's the engineer, and he's the smarter Dobrev. But I went to a performing arts high school, and from there, I fell in love with being on stage and acting and performing, and started going on auditions. And
this is what age? This is still in high school? You're like 17?
14, I guess, because grade 9 we started. Or
going on auditions in Canada.
Yeah, that's how I got
commercials, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it started with commercials, and then I got Degrassi and a couple of movies, and obviously, as you know, it's a stepping stone. One thing leads to the other, and eventually I made my way down to the States.
To Los Angeles.
to Los Angeles to Utah. I got a movie in Utah.
Really?
Yeah.
What movie was that? That was your first movie?
It was my first movie.
Wow.
And God, it's so funny because and it's even harder now because of all the laws that Trump has put into place, but getting a visa to work in the States is so unbelievably difficult. Mm-hmm. And so, like, Americans take it for granted because they don't. Anybody who is here has had to work so hard to physically get into the country. It was quite a process and a very expensive process. And you have to get letters of recommendation, and you have to lawyers and years or months of it's pretty challenging. But eventually, I was able to do it and get down here.
So you go to Utah, you make this movie.
Yep.
Then
I get shipped back to Canada because I was only allowed to work on that movie with the visa I had.
Got it.
And then the movie came out, so I came down again to promote it. And I think we piggybacked off of that visa when I got the next job. Or the audition for Vampire. Oh, that's what it was. I think we lied and said that I had a visa, even though I technically did, but it wasn't valid for anything but the first movie I'd done. Mm. And so it got me into, because if you don't have a visa, they won't even let you audition because it's such a difficult process that studios don't really want to deal with it. And it's expensive, so they don't want to deal with it. So they don't want to fall in love with someone and then have to deal with it. Okay. So I'm pretty sure we lied and said I was good to go. Yeah. Got in the room. Obviously did well enough to...
This is for your show Vampire Diaries?
Yes.
Pretty big show.
6
years.
A couple people have heard about it.
6, 7 years?
I did 6. It did 8. I left after 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you get this show, and little Nina Dobrev from Canada turns into Mrs. Vampire Diary. With the lead of the show, right?
Yeah.
Lead of the show. That you go from, having a dream to reality.
Actually making a reality. Yeah, it was a really great moment and really fun for everybody. We hoped that the show would get picked up. I mean, you always think you never know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And especially at that time, True Blood was on the air. There was Teen Wolf. There was Twilight, and then there was us. So we were
lots of vampire stuff.
Yeah, we didn't know if the industry was oversaturated, if people would want it or watch it or whatever. So we didn't know if it get picked up, and then it got picked up, and then it did well. But we also didn't really know how well it did because we were in Atlanta. We shot there, and we were sort of in our own bubble. It wasn't like LA where people follow you on the streets. Like, there's no paparazzi there. There's no one bugging you. So it was, I think, especially at that age, being 20 on a hit show, it was a blessing, huge blessing.
Because you were still sort of just living like a 20-year-old. It didn't really affect you, like.
I mean,
the
it
success
did.
of the show?
I was 20 and working as an adult instead of being in college and being crazy and living in a dorm room and making terrible mistakes. So it was a good and bad thing. I think I grew up a little faster than I maybe should have, but I also didn't make the classic mistakes that people do living in Los Angeles or getting distracted, or I wasn't in like the wrong crowd and clubbing and doing all that kind of stuff. I was focused on work, and then when I wasn't working, I was hanging out with friends and being low-key in the city.
That's cool.
Ish.
Low-key-ish?
Low-key-ish.
That's cool.
That sounds like a Bulgarian word.
Jeez.
Low-key-ish. Well, that transitions perfectly into the yes year. So of course, then I started to like get a little bit of an itch, like I missed out on something, and so that's why I disappeared and traveled the world.
So, and then when you left Atlanta, did you realize how big the show had become? And when did you were skipping 6 years of your life that like are pretty big 6 years. You became a famous person, right? Which is, I know, is a weird word for us to talk about. You're like, well, what does that really mean? But it's not like, I'll speak for myself. It's not like you change as a person, but it's the world's perception of you changes, which is a weird thing. So how did you deal with that? Like, how did that feel for you? I mean, you were 20 years old, right?
Yeah.
It's a young age for that to happen.
Like I said, I feel like because we were in our bubble, it didn't feel like it didn't affect me as much as it has other people, that my peers, let's say. And we all kind of called each other on our shit. Like if somebody was acting out of line, we were like a family and we would talk about it. It wasn't, I don't know how to answer it. It is a strange thing. Like whenever the strangest part for me is living a normal life and going out and doing things, and having people recognize you and invite, every time somebody comes and recognizes me, every time I'm like, oh wait, shoot, how do I know this person? I'm being so rude. I can't believe I forgot their name. And then I remember that I don't know them. And, but they know you and they watch you especially on TV, they watch you in their living room every week. You're in their home, you're with their family. So it is a very intimate, one-sided relationship. So it is a little strange, but at the same time, you wouldn't have the success that you do or the opportunities that you're getting now if you didn't have these amazing fans that are as passionate as they are. So it's great, but it's different. It's a different existence for sure.
So you finish the show, hit show, then what? Then you do your year? I
did the year at 24, and then I did another year at 26 when the show was done. I took 1 month off for every year that I was on the show.
And then you moved to LA.
And then I moved to LA.
And what was that like?
I bought a house.
You bought a house.
Yeah. Very adult-like. I bought a house. What else did I do? I started doing more films.
What was it like moving to LA? Because you never lived in LA really. You lived in Atlanta.
No, yeah.
What do you think of it? Do you enjoy it? Do you love it? Do you hate it?
I know how you feel about this.
Well, how do I feel?
I always love talking to you about this.
No, I don't even know. What do I do? I'm intrigued. What do you think I feel about it?
I mean, I know because you've told me that you don't like LA.
Look, I'm from here. I'm from here, so I don't. It's not like I don't like it. I just don't know. I don't know if I want to live in LA.
Yeah. I mean, I get that, and I'm not judging you for saying that. It's just like, I think you don't like it in the ways that I don't like it too. I mean, it's a beautiful city. There's a reason why everyone flocks to it. It's sunny all the time. The beaches are beautiful. The people are visually beautiful. But it's so easy to kind of get lost in the beauty and forget what your purpose is in this city. And that's why, to me at least, it's so important to get out of it every once in a while and try to find substance elsewhere if I'm not getting it here. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Substance is important.
It's a beautiful place to live and have a home, and I have I'm lucky to have really great friends, but I like that. Did you end up getting a place here, or do you still have your place in San Diego only?
I actually moved to Texas.
Wow.
Yeah. I live in Texas.
Okay. Guess I missed that. Yeah. Where in Texas? Austin?
Yeah.
When did you do this?
2 years ago.
What?
Yeah. I mean, I started sort of slowly just leaving.
How have you not told me this?
I don't know. I've been gone. I've been working on movies. I've been doing stuff.
Oh, wait, maybe I did know. Hold on, I'm like having flashbacks right
maybe.
now.
Yeah.
I think you did tell me when I was drunk, and that's probably why I don't remember. You caught me in my natural habitat.
No, it's okay. I mean, I decided to, I just decided that, I just like the country. I'm a country boy at heart.
Yeah.
I love the ocean. Like, I love California. I love being by the sea, but it doesn't necessarily need to be in California to be by the ocean. So I travel a lot too. Something in your throat?
Yeah, that was weird.
That was amazing.
Weird noise.
We caught that well.
Yeah.
Where's your? Well, I guess we can't talk about this here.
Tell you later.
Is it in a good area? Like, are you in a central area, or are you out in the boonies?
Ghetto. I'm in the ghetto.
He lives in a trailer.
No, you don't.
That's a lie.
But do you live downtown, like somewhere in the city, or are you out in like the fields?
In the fields.
Okay, never mind. I was going to ask you if I. Okay, well,
We'll talk about that
okay.
later.
Well, okay.
No, I'm close to the
I need
city.
a place to stay for South by Southwest, so that's why I'm
This
asking.
is where we're going. There's a real agenda.
I hate staying in hotels. I'm such an Airbnb
yeah.
like rental person. I don't like hotels. I don't like the coldness, and
It's the AC. It's the filters. It's the AC. They never change them.
and I feel like
And
they
they
don't change their
always are too
sheets
cold.
either. And like, you know how many people got
What
freaky
kind of
in
hotels
those
are you
beds?
staying
I mean,
in?
that's the whole purpose of a hotel is like people sleep on the beds. They're not throwing the mattress out every time somebody
No,
stays in
but I
it.
mean, I hope that whatever hotel you're staying, I mean, you gotta step it up. Maybe the hotels you're staying at,
I stay at good hotels, but still, other people have stayed in them, and that just is, I don't know.
that freaks you out.
Freaks me out, man. Freaks me out.
Fair enough. Yeah, but I just it's not like I hate LA at all. I'm a really healthy person, and I feel much better like in open spaces and with nature, and I can come here and work and do stuff and like be around people and do thing and know that I get to leave and know that I don't have to sit in the 405 and deal with like a bunch of sort of bad energy sometimes. I'm just like, okay, cool. I'm like, I don't have that bad energy.
Yeah.
I got to bring the good energy to the city and come in feeling good and like have a good time and then peace out.
All right, that's the dream. I love Austin. Oh my god, it's such a great city.
It's a great city.
I'm so jealous.
It is a great
I
city.
want to get a lake house there.
Should do it. Get a lake house.
Or you can get a lake house and then come visit.
I see where we're going. This is a common thread of yours.
Where do you get your energy? What fills your soul?
Multiple sources. My dog. Every morning, she's like natural coffee.
What kind of dog?
She's a rescue mutt.
Best kind.
She what?
Best kind, I said.
Oh, I thought it was coming from you.
No,
it was very impressive.
Just best kind.
Couldn't see your mouth move, but
can
yet
throw
words
my
came out. I was
voice.
like, that's amazing.
It's
okay.
amazing.
She's a rescue mutt. She looks like a border collie mix, but she's not. I did the DNA test and she's everything but, basically. She licks me every morning when my alarm goes off, and she's just like literally. I believe in energies, and
Yeah.
I mean you can tell when somebody who's not in a good mood walks into a room. Everybody feels it. Like it's a palpable thing, and her energy is always so pure and full of love, and so that energizes me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My buddy once said, you have two choices in this life. You can be an energy taker or an energy giver. You choose. And I was like, and that really stuck with me. And anytime, I mean, like, we're all guilty of like sucking energy too, right? Like, we can't always be full. Sometimes you need things. It goes both ways, right? But your dog,
Yeah.
what motivates you to stay healthy? Because you're super healthy, and I see via your Instagram all the time that you're always kicking ass, doing Reebok ads and boxing and lots of yoga, which I'm a huge fan of.
Yes, I know you are, and it's again, it's all. I think it all comes down to the balance thing. You gotta. I love doing yoga, but I also love running and weightlifting and playing volleyball and doing all kinds of different things, so that it never gets stale, and doing it with my friends.
Making activities, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
mainly. I mean, it goes back to even the cooking. I love cooking and being healthy. So, but I don't like making meals just for myself. That seems tedious and boring, and like a lot of energy that I'm putting out. And I like to share it with somebody. So I'll invite friends over and we'll cook, or go to classes together because it feels like a camaraderie, like a team, like a squad, and then also makes me accountable so that I don't cancel if I'm hungover
Yeah.
or tired or spread too thin.
Those invites for the dinners and stuff, like
You live in
you have
Texas,
the
as we
right
just
number. I'm just checking if you
established.
have
That- and
my
I knew
number
that.
or.
I knew that. Yeah, like I've known this whole time that you lived in Texas, so that has
sure
nothing.
that
That's the
you're
main reason
sending
why.
those invites. Yeah. I didn't know you were a cook.
Yeah,
Yeah, you cooking a lot?
yeah. I mean, when I
good.
can, when we're not, you know how it is when you're on the road. sometimes I don't cook as much, but if I can, I love to.
What's your favorite meal to cook?
I don't have a favorite. I
Okay,
like
well,
to change it up.
what's your favorite meal to eat? Like if you could eat one meal for dinner that you love and is healthy.
For every day for the rest of my
No,
life?
it doesn't have to be forever. Nothing's got to be forever.
Okay,
Well,
good.
tonight.
So I like this. Because I could actually just decide now what I'm going to eat later. I had Thai last night. Tom kha gai soup and chicken pad Thai.
But you didn't cook this.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, right. I'd love to learn to cook that. I think I'm not going to cook tonight either, by the way.
Okay.
I've been doing press since
I'm glad because you didn't
7 in the
invite me.
morning. I'm Postmate. I'm going to Postmates and chill
Okay.
with my
Postmates
dog and
chill.
Netflix. I don't know. Why is this so difficult?
I don't know.
You think
Maybe a
You're
piece of fish?
Yeah, I can do
Some
some
veggies?
salmon and a salad. It's clean, it's fresh. Yeah, that sounds good. Salmon and a salad. But like a very, very big, sort of diverse, all kinds of different
Stuff.
vegetables and things. Maybe some like grilled.
But not too
veg-
much sauce. Right? Come on. Just light. No sauce.
I just do vinegar and oil.
There you go. That's good. That's super healthy.
Yeah.
That's good. Less sauce, people. Less sauce. Everyone loves to like just put. I mean, you can have a meal sometimes, and it can be like what people think is a really healthy meal,
Like a Caesar salad. People
Oh,
think it's so
God.
healthy, but it's the worst.
and you're just
It's so bad for
downing
you.
dressing and just croutons and Parmesan cheese. You're like, that's not healthy. You just had all that.
Yeah,
And
I feel like I can't remember where I read this, and maybe it's not true, but I'm pretty sure it's true. A Caesar salad has more calories and fat in it than a McDonald's hamburger.
maybe
I would
very possible.
implore you to Google this before you edit it into the episode to make sure that I didn't
it's
lie to
staying
the
anyway.
people, but I'm pretty sure that's true.
You still have McDonald's in Canada? It's in Canada, right?
Is water wet?
I don't know. I haven't eaten McDonald's in 15
McDonald's
years.
is in
I don't know.
every. I mean, I feel like there's McDonald's in like African tribes in the boonies now. That's a lie. That was a joke, but yeah, there's McDonald's. Yes, there is. Canada is not a third world country.
What does Canada think of us?
I think Canada's not going to like you after that comment.
What,
I'm
what,
just
do they have
kidding. I'm just
McDonald's?
kidding. What does Canada think of us? Like,
Yeah,
who's us?
Americans.
Um,
I'm making you the representative of them right now.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I know that we are allies. But I know that Canada doesn't agree. From the people that I've spoken to, people are not necessarily stoked on our president's. I live here. He's my president, kind of, by proxy. Some choices, and I'm one of those people.
There you go. Or just, do they think we're cool? Is America cool?
I don't know. That's a very subjective
I don't know. I'm just
question.
trying to think how I think of Canadians. I think of them as really nice people.
Oh, in that way.
Yeah. Like I think of them as
Oh, I went political. You were.
Yeah,
it was a much
no, I'm
simpler
just-
question. Yeah, let's cut all that out that I just said.
like I think of Canadians as an extension of like the Midwest, like going up into the Midwest, and it's like everybody's so nice, like there's not like a bad bone, and so many people, you're like, where'd you get so nice?
I don't know. It's
They have
sort of-
healthcare, bro.
That's true.
Maybe is that it?
Yeah.
Is it having healthcare? Is like just everyone's
Their
happy because they're
basic
healthy.
stresses are cared for.
That is true. Actually, yeah.
You know,
I mean,
But,
that,
like,
that is
people
a
in the-
big stress for a lot of people.
for sure.
I'll never forget. I went to the hospital for something minute, something not even that bad, a while ago, and it was like $10,000 for like a paper cut. I'm joking, but it's like crazy amounts of money for simple things. And before that, I'd never ever in my whole life gotten a medical bill. Everything was just taken care of.
Yeah.
So that is stressful if you don't have $10,000 or if you have a serious injury. that's stressful. People have to like take out loans and do all kinds of things, and then they're working to live, not living to work.
No, you have it.
Yes.
You didn't have it.
Damn it, I didn't. They're living to work, not working to live. What is it? What is the expression?
It's
help.
It's
Send help.
you want to work to live. Work to live.
Instead of live to work.
Yeah. You don't want to live to work. You want to work to live.
Okay.
I just
I
wanna
don't know.
live.
Now I've confused myself, and I was the one that brought up the expression.
You want to work to live. If you live to work, then your whole life is.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hearing you. You're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people get drowned in debt, and that's really stressful. And then when you add kids to it and trying to raise the kids,
Yeah.
it's stressful when you don't have free health care.
The last time I was in Canada, I was in Toronto.
Shooting Suicide Squad.
I was there for like 4 months. I didn't get hurt. I didn't have to go to the hospital, so that was good. But if I had, would they just help me out? Because I'm not a Canadian, or do you have to be a Canadian to get free healthcare there?
I feel like you would have to be a Canadian because we still pay taxes, and the tax money goes towards healthcare. So we have really high taxes.
You guys do?
Yeah. And as a result, everything else is free at that point.
Sure.
So you don't have to. You can opt for private healthcare if you feel like there's somebody specific that can do it better, but then that's out of pocket.
Got it.
But at least everybody is covered. If there were to be a tragedy, there's nobody walking around that is a Canadian citizen that is not covered. As far as I know, unless laws have changed. I've been gone for a while.
Yeah.
I like it. Compassion, care for people.
I do.
But I don't think you have to have healthcare to like have compassion. Why do certain people just have more compassion for others? It's just like, it's the weirdest thing, right? Like some people are just terrible to people, and some people are just so kind to other people. Like where does that come from?
I don't know.
Life experience.
Maybe
et cetera, et cetera.
relatability. Yeah. Life experience and relatability. I mean, if you've been through hard times, you can recognize hard times in others. Whereas if you've always kind of had it all and haven't had to worry, you don't understand what the struggle is. And when you see somebody struggling, you don't even think to reach out or help because you don't understand it. I don't know. I mean, I even see it, it's even so, like the disparity is so clear with young people, like on the internet, right? There's people are terrible to each other. Like it's almost like high school, like people, you remember how like mean people were in high school? Oh God.
Right?
Can you imagine being in high school with the internet right now?
No.
Oh my God. That's terrible.
Yeah.
It scares me, and I'm old.
You're not old.
You're not old.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah. You are 30, so you better hurry up.
You don't even have any grays. You're not old.
What do you?
Yeah, I got some serious coming in. Old washed up actor guy. That's why I do this now.
That's what they say. Yeah, I can't. I mean, I'm terrified to someday have kids because I don't even know what I would say and how I would deal with it.
Do you pay attention to, by the way, to Instagram? By the way, I'm looking at your Instagram right now. It's almost 17 million people follow you. Do you pay attention to comments, either positive or negative?
Oh, Maverick! Look at Maverick.
That's your dog.
Where's Maverick, right here?
The only furry animal.
Hey, Maverick could have been anything, right?
Still can be anything.
Yeah, right.
She's everything. I mean, do I pay attention to it?
Do people slide up in your DMs and say a bunch of stupid shit, and do you read it?
DMs,
do you stay
no.
away from it?
DMs, no. I mean, my friend, I have my setting set to only being able to receive messages from my people I follow because it would be too overwhelming otherwise. I have dipped into the DM box in the past, and it's a scary place.
It's a dark place.
Yeah.
pretty dark.
And same with comments. I mean, I try to sometimes answer and engage. And when people are positive and they have nice things to say, it makes it easier than other times when people are mean and catty and it feels like you're in high school again. And it is a challenging balance. And again, I'm old, so it's like to be faced with this challenge at this age. I can't imagine when your brain is not fully formed and you're an impressionable young person to have to deal with that. I'd be devastated.
It's a wild thing, like the internet. I mean, and it, like, look at this. Like, this is like people's resume almost
Nowadays,
right?
yeah.
It's like / dating website
for sure.
Right? It's like, it's such a weird thing. It's like, what? Like, this is what we're doing now. Like, this is it. Okay. Like, this is Nina. There you are. And that's your life. And that's supposed to represent you. And it's, people are so fixated on it, right? Like, it's so weird that it's like a thing. I don't know. I find it like just fascinating that it's such
a currency nowadays.
It's a weird thing, right? It's like, what? And that's how we judge people.
Yeah, and it's everything and it's nothing at the same time when you think about it, because the version that we put out there is a very curated.
Oh yeah, a representative.
Yeah,
it's like, that's your representative, right? I mean, like, look, you put your best foot. We all do, right? That's your best foot forward, right? That's like, hey, check this out. You can do whatever you want. I mean, I guess you could make it negative. You can make it positive. You can do whatever you want with it. But it's a representation of you. It's not really who you are at the core, probably. I've gotten to know you over 6-7 years. How many years have we known each other now? Something like that.
Just trying to remember what year.
But I know, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, no one, if someone like meets you on Instagram, they see you, like, they don't know you yet, you know? They're like, oh, cool, they're seeing like these aspects of your life, but that's not like a real human interaction. Do you think that's weird? That's how we're doing shit now? That's what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, and yet we're still doing it.
I mean, no, we're all doing it, right? I mean,
yeah, we live in a very strange time.
It is.
And yet, like, as much as we're kind of harping on it, there are, like, it's a yin and a yang. There's a good and bad to it. There's a way.
What do you think the good is?
I think the good is that we're able to, if you have good intentions and you want to do something with it, you can reach millions of people in a way that you never would have been able to before. If, like,
so what are you saying? Like, just have voice. I mean, not
have
just
a voice, and like, if there's something that's important to you that you want to support, or like, I shot a documentary about sharks and the fact that they are dying at they're being murdered at a rapid rate, and shark advocacy and being a voice to them, and trying to get as many people to sign petitions to change laws to do things. Like, you can do that now, whereas you wouldn't have had the reach before to be able to do something. It might be too late because they might go extinct soon, whether we might not have enough time to do that, but at least you can try.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I don't know anymore. I feel like I've pulled back a little bit myself. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I mean, it is weird, right? It's a weird thing.
Yeah, no,
it's a weird thing.
Hear you. It's definitely.
It's a weird time, right? I mean, like 15 years ago, if you thought, okay, hey, this is like how we're going to communicate with the world, and we're going to put these pictures out or videos out, and this is going to be our platform, people would be like, what? No. Like, you go out into the world and you meet people, you do business, you do commerce, you're your own representative, you have conversations like what we're having right now, which is, I think, sort of rare. And that's why I actually like doing this. It's because I'm not on my phone, right? I'm having a one-on-one conversation. I'm Tim. Sorry.
Sorry,
you're
Tim.
here too.
Yeah, that's
But I'm having like this. I'm having this conversation with someone where I'm getting to get to know somebody deeper and like what they think of shit and how they view the world instead of my representative or
and in a way
or just
that
a passing
photo can't
thing.
tell. Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you on that. That's why the whole like dating app thing is also strange to me because it's essentially Instagram swiping.
Are you on a dating app?
No, I never have been.
Yeah, me neither. Could never do that.
I don't. I know people that have found love on it and are getting married. And like it works for some people, and so I'm not harping on it at all. But I've just never understood it, and I've always gone off of a connection that I've had in person or a conversation like you just mentioned. That's what sort of like gets my heart racing. Mm-hmm. Is like an energetic in person thing. So I don't think you can duplicate that on an app. But people are different, and
you kind of need that gut too. Like you need that gut. In my opinion, I agree with you. You need that gut reaction. Like, oh, okay, I can see this person, and I can feel their energy. I can feel this, and I think they're not crazy. I haven't seen their crazy rear its head yet, But like, I mean, like on the internet, I don't. Yeah, you just not. No, I don't.
But at the same time, it's so hard to meet people, though. So I understand like that being the bridge that gets two people to connect, because otherwise, like if it's not somewhere that, like in your workplace, for example, if you work at Walmart or if you are work at a train, like wherever you work, let's say you don't want to date people in your industry nowadays, you can't date people in your industry.
What do you think about that? I think that's weird.
I think it's a complicated question. I think that if two people have a connection and if it's done properly, then I don't know what the actual rules are in every work. I'm sure it's different in different workplaces, but some people take advantage of positions, and if it's mutual, of course, I think people like love is love, and you gotta let love thrive. The world would be a better place if everyone was in love, but it's tricky. It's case by case, I think. But anyway, if it's not in your workplace and if you're always at work because everyone's working, how do you meet people outside of the world? Especially, like you don't really meet people in nightclubs and form real connections and have conversations. So this is a way to get two people together. But the weird part for me is that you see their picture, so you're seeing another curated version of what they want you to think that they look like and the life that you say you lead. And then you either are meeting up with them for superficial reasons or rejecting them for superficial reasons. Like you may have met somebody in a bar and like had a connection, even if they weren't your type.
Stalk them on Instagram.
Yeah, and then stalking them, and then you end up knowing everything about them, and then what do you talk about on the date? So then it's kind of a stale conversation.
And you also pretend like you don't know.
Yeah,
like you haven't stalked them or
okay,
Googled
we
them.
both just stalked each other. Let's be honest about it. This is what I like. This is what I didn't like. Wouldn't it be great if you just have that conversation?
It would be great, yeah.
It's weird. It's really weird.
But it works for some people, so it's kind of hard to.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's not my thing,
you either
but
you adapt, right, or you have to adapt to how society's operating. I mean, you'd be living under a rock if you're like, oh, what's Instagram, or what's Facebook, or what's to say what's Google. You would you have to sort of adapt if you want to navigate society, but it is weird. But you said this thing that like I kind of questioned when you said it. You're like, it's so hard to meet people. And I'm like, well, is it? Is it hard to meet people, or do we make it hard? Like, do we make And I think it changes depending on where you are. Like, this city is a harder place to meet people because it's a big metropolis city, so people are moving faster. It's the pace of life's quicker. People are maybe a little more closed off. Not everybody, but
for the majority, yeah
right. Like it's people are really insulated and they're really focused on what they're doing. But you go to other places and it's like the pace of life is way slower and it's actually a lot easier to meet people. People are more receptive.
Yeah, but it's also easier for you to meet people because you're an attractive
Whoa,
early
whoa,
30-something
whoa.
man.
He's an old man.
Yeah.
And you have
First off, I'm an old man.
And you have a person, like you have a big personality. You can walk into a room and talk to anybody. That's like part of your thing. But for a lot of people, it's not. It's also part of my thing. Like I'm outgoing. I can strike up a conversation with anyone.
Yeah.
But I have found that guys, I have to be the one. If I don't do it, guys won't approach me, and that's another weird thing that like is interesting.
About what?
Just like,
About being a big personality, about being famous?
I don't know. I haven't thought about that. I don't know which reason puts people off, but maybe both, maybe one or the other. I don't know.
I mean, I do hear what you're saying.
I've been told I have a masculine energy. Like like I walk into a room and I'm like,
I don't find you masculine.
not masculine, like
You're like adventurous. You're like, hey, like I want to talk and have fun and meet all the people and see all the stuff and.
yeah, which in certain like if you talk to energy workers, that's considered like your masculine energy instead of your feminine energy, which is more vulnerable and like like softer, like not as like the presence in a room. Neither one is bad. That's why they say yin and yang. That's why the yin and yang is like there's a little bit of each in the other side.
Yeah.
Because you need both and both are good, but you gotta find balance. All about balance, people.
All about the balance.
But yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, you know, I guess I am more outgoing. But I wonder how the internet has affected people as a society, just how it has affected people insulating themselves to not meet people. Right?
Yeah,
They're like, oh,
it's
like
easier
I
to not
don't want to have to, you know, I get it. A lot of people's fear is public speaking, putting yourself out there. But I would say it probably exacerbates it, having the internet, because then you're like, okay, I can have this like online life, and then I don't have to have maybe as much human connection, which I don't know, feels like really important to being like a happy person.
Or maybe it allows you to take a softer step into a relationship.
Yeah, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it allows people who would not have been able to go and say hi to somebody, but able to go on the DM or to go on to some chat forum or whatever and say, hey, how you doing?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's true.
Right? Like it's an interesting
Yeah.
thing to examine. It's like, is it really? Is it helping? Is it hurting? What are we doing?
I don't know.
What are we doing?
I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm getting too in my head about it, but it's just it's a weird thing.
I think the dating apps are cool just because you know that they're looking, versus in real life sometimes it's like this girl was getting out of the water the other day in Venice and I was like, how was it? And she was like, I'm all right. And I was like, no, I said, how was it?
The water.
She's like, no.
Well, and
Yeah,
maybe
exactly. I'm
and-
like, fuck.
And maybe
Yeah.
that's another thing. It's a lot easier it's scarier to walk up to somebody in person, and there's a lot of rejection is a possibility.
Right.
Whereas online, if they say no, it doesn't hurt you at like quite as imminently.
True. I guess when I always thought of rejection, I always like put it in this category where I was like, okay, rejection's a good thing, because if a person is going to flat out reject you and you're putting yourself out there and you're not obviously, you know, you're saying something positive or whatever, and they're not going to respond or rebound off that, that's like cool. It's like check that box, like moving on. That's one less person that I have to
Give your energy to.
Yeah, that I have to, you know, that's cool. Okay, moving on. You know, I don't want to really be probably a friend with that person maybe anyways, because they're not, you know.
If it's not mutual, yeah.
It's not mutual. All right,
there.
cool, no worries. No vibes, good, you know. I don't know. I always thought of it like that, so it never really, I don't know. I was always like, all right, cool. Like, it's a numbers thing, you know.
Yeah.
You're going to be, some people are going to be cool and some people aren't.
Exactly.
Some people take it very personally, though. It's like, and they should. It's like,
They can sting.
yeah.
They can sting.
It just depends on if you have a high self-esteem or not, I think.
Yeah. So what are you doing
I didn't
now?
even think that chick was attractive.
The one in the water?
I was just being nice.
Really?
I was like, how was it? I'm thinking of
A
going
little
out.
bit attractive.
You know
Come
what I
on.
mean?
Like, was she a little bit attractive?
I was making fun of her for being frumpy, but I shouldn't have done that either. But you know,
Wait, what?
like you, like were
Just
you
as
were
she was
you,
walking
were you-
down the
are you
beach-
being honest though? Like, did you find her attractive and you're like, oh, like I'm gonna ask this girl?
no,
how it
like
was?
genuinely, it was a matter of convenience.
You were
Like
just
she
like,
just
hey,
happened to be
how
walking
is the
right
surf?
by. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Which is nice, by the way. That's another thing that I feel like doesn't happen as much. People don't say hi to each other on the
I
street.
know, it's terrible. And then when you do, people are like, what is
Yeah,
wrong
what
with
do
you?
What does he
Yeah.
want? Is he a creep? What's happening? Like, why is she talking to me? Yeah, it's we need more human interaction for sure.
And that's what the internet is fucking up.
Yeah, we're getting closer together and yet further apart.
Mm-hmm.
isolation's a tough one. That's a real. I think there's a lot of correlation with depression and people not feeling loved. So yeah, it's tough. It's a real tough thing. But anyway, what's next? What's next for you? You're doing this killer show now, right?
Do you want me to go over there real quick?
You're doing a killer show, right?
Yeah,
New
I mean,
show.
I don't know. I'm having fun.
Hey, that's what matters.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's called
Fam
Fam.
on CBS.
Okay.
When is this gonna?
I don't know. Whenever we want.
Is it
Week
soon?
to
Like,
week.
wait,
Yeah,
will
we
it
can
still
do
be
it.
on? Okay.
You're like, I hope my show's still on.
That's what I mean. We'll see if it's. It'll be on. Yeah, for the next. I think there's 10 more episodes. So for the next 10 more weeks.
You're gonna be shooting.
No, we're already finished shooting.
You're wrapped. Done.
Yeah, they're just rolling them out now. 9:30 p.m. after Mom on Thursdays
Cool.
on CBS.
Sweet. So you're gonna do that and
That and going to South by, as I told you earlier, staying with
That'd be
you.
fun.
Thank you so much for inviting me into your home.
yeah.
And we have a film at South by Southwest called Run This Town.
Oh, nice. What's that about?
It is about former Mayor Rob Ford. Do you remember or know?
Yeah. Why do I know that? Rob Ford.
I like to joke and say he was like the mini Trump before Trump happened.
Okay.
He was inappropriate and said crazy things in the media and got away with a lot for God knows why. And it's partially about him and his dealings and some of the scandals that he was in. So it's like a political drama. But it's also about youth now and millennials and how a lot of millennials are going to college and getting these degrees and studying, and once they leave school they can't find jobs because there's not enough jobs, so they're in debt and they're moving in with their parents, and it's just like the social economical world that we live in and politics and the divide between the two worlds in so many ways.
Have you seen the film?
I've seen ADR, but I have not seen the full film. I'm going to be seeing it next week.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah. So there's that, and then what day is it today? What date?
It's Monday.
28.
So I have another
January.
movie coming out in 4 days, I think. Friday,
What's that?
February 2nd. It's a movie called. They changed the title 3 times. Hold on, what's it called now? No,
It's
they
okay.
did. It was
This happens to me all the
It
time.
was
I just
called-
forget the titles of my movies. You're doing so many movies, Nina,
It
that you
was-
just forget the movies.
Go back to my Instagram, please. I just tweeted about it.
Oh
I mean,
my
Instagrammed
God.
about it. It was called Departures. Then they changed it. No, it was called Arrivals, and then that movie Arrivals came out with
Amy Adams.
yeah. So then we had to change it to Departures, and I
Got
guess
it.
I don't know if it didn't test well or something, but then we changed it to keep scrolling. We changed it to. You scroll too much. You scroll too much.
Too much? I have IMDb right here too.
I see you went. By the way,
This is embarrassing. You keep going down.
I see you went to Indo. You just got back from Indonesia.
Then came you. Then came you. Then came you.
Then came you.
Comes out on Friday,
Sweet.
February 2nd.
I'm ready for it. Been ready. Been waiting. I saw you went to Indo, actually. No, I wanted to ask you about it. Where'd you go? Because I've been a bunch all throughout Indonesia, many times, actually.
Did you go to the Komodo dragons?
The island with the Komodo
Yeah.
dragons? No. I've seen it on planet Earth, as many people have, but that's about as far as I've been.
It was kind of close to, we didn't go there either, but it was nearby because of the time of year that we went. It wasn't in season to go there. Like the weather wasn't good. But yeah, it was pure magic and bliss.
Yeah, it's a pretty special part of the world.
It's so beautiful and untapped, and the oceans are so, like the coral reef there.
Where did you go?
It was near West Papua, in an area called Raja Ampat. We were on a boat. We were living on a almost like a
boat.
pirate ship. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like a cool boat.
It was incredible, and the crew was unbelievable, and the people that we were with were incredible souls. It was a pretty magical trip. We went diving every day and learned about the coral reefs that obviously are in a little bit of danger right now, and the oceans are it's like, that's where I geek out. So I can talk about this for 45 hours and bore everybody, and they'll
You're not boring me. I love the ocean.
Turn the podcast off, and they're like, "Is she still talking about that ocean thing?" Yeah, turn it off then.
So what was the trip for? It was just a leisure trip?
It was Jules and Brooks and I were invited by the Bucket List family. Do you know about them?
Only from your Instagram. I just saw it. I was like, oh, cool. What's that? I don't know.
They
Bucket list
are
family. Seems cool.
the most amazing, perfect family in the world. They are the couple with their 3 kids who have been traveling the world for the last couple of years from place to place with their toddlers.
Cool.
And they have the most positive outlook on life, and they go to the most unbelievable places and sort of share their journey with the world, and teach their kids a lot of amazing things along the process. And I felt like I was one of their kids on this trip. That's Garrett,
Go
Garrett
down.
G. No, that was all the way to the right.
The merman.
The one on the right, yeah.
Merman.
That's him and I.
Oh, lovely. That's Matt Majestic right there.
Daddy Bucket is what I called him.
Daddy Bucket.
Papa
So
Bucket.
you didn't know this family before, and you just knew them through the internet?
No, Brooks and Jules knew them. I was
okay.
invited because they were invited on the trip, and they are so sweet and so amazing and so gracious and just such a great. We started doing this thing. They do it every night with their kids, and I've started doing it now every night with my friends and family over Christmas. Actually, they ask their kids every night at dinner what their favorite moment of the day was.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. And so we'd
Trying to
go
think of
around the
mine.
table, and everybody would list their favorite. And that way, even if you'd spent the whole day together with all your friends, each person has a different memory or a different moment that stood out to them. So it helps you remember the day and sort of appreciate all the good things that happened in that day. And it just sort of, it's one other way to appreciate everything, because you kind of get so caught up in every like the good things and the bad things, and life is just going, and it'll pass you by without even realizing.
Sure.
And this way, so you kind of like force time to slow down for a second.
I like that. Okay, so what was your favorite moment of today?
Talking to you, obviously.
That's the right answer. Always the right answer, Nina. I like that. She's smart. She's very smart. Mine was talking to me too. Amazing.
That's the not smart answer, Scott. The not smart answer. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool moments today. I've had a good day.
Good.
I got to hang out with the snakes today.
What was that about?
I was doing I'm promoting the show right now, so I was doing a bunch of different interviews, and in one of them, they had a snake in the lobby, and I requested to pet it. And
Snakes for likes.
Snakes for what?
Snakes for likes, you know.
What does that mean?
I don't know, internet, likes.
Oh. No, I mean, yeah, I did post it. I sure did. It's in my story.
Snakes for likes.
But I just love animals, and it's the last one.
That's cool. Snake Day.
Snake Day.
There it is.
There you go. What kind of snake is that? Boa? No, what is that?
I don't even know. His name was Craig.
You're like, he's a Craig. That's what he is.
It's legitimately what his name was. And he was so sweet. He would like he licked me.
He did.
He was very animals get such a bad rap. It bums me out so much.
What do you mean?
Like sharks. Everyone's afraid of snakes, and sharks are, because of Jaws and other scary shark movies, are these these terrible predators that kill humans, and they're misunderstood. They don't care about us. They're scared of us more than we are of them. And anytime there is a mistaken identity bite or something goes wrong, of course the media blasts it, makes it into a big deal, but nobody pays attention to the fact that 363 days of the year nothing happens, and they're perfect citizens of the ocean.
Yeah.
And when there is an accident, it's because we're in their world, so we're really to blame. We don't have respect for the ocean and its predators. But lions, I just found out after going to Africa that lions are close to being extinct too, and in captivity everywhere, and people are still poaching them, which is crazy to me. Like, what? How do people? They're killing lions for fun, for no reason. Like they go out the way they hunt deer in the States and do it recreationally.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really a trophy hunter. That's not cool.
No.
I don't really find. I'm like, whatever. That's just of no nonsense. I mean, I do eat meat, and I
do too.
I grew up hunting and fishing, and I have no problem eating something that I kill. That's
I agree with that.
That's pretty much the way I'd my preferred way. I would rather, if I could all the time, if that's all I did was just hunt and fish, I would be cool with that. But yeah, I mean,
it's like kill an animal just to kill an animal and say that you did it. That drives me nuts. Especially because the animal doesn't know, or it didn't. In the wild, we went on safari. Like, we saw lions killing impalas.
Yeah.
And hippos killing whatever. Like, that happens, but they're killing them to eat them.
Life eats life.
Yeah, but to just kill an animal to say that you did, or hang its carcass in your living room, is just gross to me.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
So
you went to Africa this year.
Yeah.
Indonesia.
Yeah.
What's next? What is the next, I don't know, what does the next 10 years of your life look like? Where do you think you're going?
Whoa. That is a loaded question.
It's my last.
What's
one of my last questions that I ask people?
What's your 10-year plan? Let me turn around and
Bam.
You're next, Dalton. Careful.
I think that I am doing different things in the next 10 years. I'm starting to diversify my skill set, not just an actor, not just in the film business. I like to reinvest in myself, like find a new skill set. I fly. I do a bunch of different things. And so I'm always trying to find a new skill set that I can harness. Because for me, it's good to have like a motivating thing. It's good to have something that you're like, I'm going to start something and finish it and become like, have a little bit more depth of field as a person. So I think that's sort of what I'm focused on. I'm less focused on just doing what I've done for the last 15 years in the film business. I'm trying to open up my my skill set a little more, whether it be like producing movies.
I was just gonna ask, do you have aspirations to produce or direct or
anything? Yeah, no, I'm doing that a bunch. We've got a couple movies that we've been really trying to push uphill. We wrote a TV show last year for History Channel.
Oh wow!
Look at you. Yeah, we're doing stuff. But I mean, and even outside of the entertainment business, I'm traveling more again for fun. As you know, like traveling in this business, you spend a lot of time on the road. But I've been doing stuff that I want to do that I haven't seen. So I think more of that.
Cool.
Yeah. You?
10 years. I definitely I've been producing and developing for the last little while, but would like to continue. I love that side of it. It's so hard and it takes so long, and it sometimes feels like it's not going well.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, I don't know. It's my new acting. Like I remember that feeling when I first started. I feel invigorated and excited about it in a way that I just feels fresh and different. I'm learning, and I definitely want to direct. Soon.
You know that for sure.
Oh,
Soon.
Yes, for
Really?
sure. Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
Have you done anything, like laid anything down, short, put something together?
I'm working on a short right now,
That's cool.
and that's the thing. Like I've had offers to do a couple things, and I don't want to do it until I've kind of done my due diligence and done a short or done something else where I've like gotten those kinks out of the way and learned. Like I want to be confident in it and know that I'm going to step onto a set and really be able to sort of command respect because I've put in the work and I'm not just like a placeholder for a director.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
And I've spent so many years on set, especially on the TV show. Like I did kind of use that as a college experience, and I asked a lot of questions, and I was with the DP and the directors all the time. So I do feel like I know enough, but until I actually direct this first shortly.
Oh, that was a good nervous laugh.
Yeah.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be great.
Then I feel like I'll feel a little bit better.
You know more than you think you know. Remember that.
Another one of my friends just directed something, and I've been helping him a lot with the producer brain of me has been like giving a lot of notes and trying to give advice and whatever, and I feel like I'm more ready for it than I even realized in kind of watching his process.
Sure. Can you direct one of the episodes of the TV show?
If we get picked up, we'll see. I've thrown my hat in there. I've requested it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more challenging on multicam because it's live in front of an audience. The director kind of has to be behind the camera, and I have to be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So
It's probably not as creative too, right? I mean, the directing of it. What do you think?
It's different. It's very different. I think I would have to co-direct with somebody because I'd have to be in front of the camera on the tape night.
Yeah.
So I'd need somebody behind camera kind of watching to see if we got what we needed. But yes, it is an aspiration of mine, especially because I just found out there's like 3 female directors in the sitcom world.
Oh, wow.
So we didn't have any female directors in this past season that we just did, and I was kind of up in arms about it. I talked to the producer and the executive producer and was like, what's happening here? I don't know if you guys missed media in the last year and a half, but like there's a movement. It's called Time's Up. You kind of have to, like,
Haven't heard of it.
It's crazy that there are no female directors on our show. And he was like, we tried. It's not even, it's just like they're multicam, that there is no, we need women to express interest and like learn about it because there's just a surplus of men and not enough women. So if anyone's listening to this podcast who has aspirations to do something like that, just know that there's a gap in the industry. We need more ladies as directors in multicams specifically, and I'm going to try to add myself to that list, but there will still be so much room for more. So get your cute buns in there and start learning about it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Cool.
Other than that, I mean, I think if we're talking tenure, probably family someday soon.
Family?
Well, not soon, but down the line. Yeah. It's definitely in my future, but not in my near future.
That bug has kind of hit you?
No, it's not that it's just hit me. No, I've always known that I want to have a family and I want to have kids. Just like when. It's never the right time for kids. Because I'm always going to help.
Those pesty things, kids.
Well, it's just, for women, it takes you out of the game for a minute. Yeah. So it's you have to make a choice to be selfless, and I'm
sure. You also got to find someone that you want to have kids with.
right. Yeah, that too, I guess.
Like, I guess.
I was joking.
Yeah.
That is
I guess
big,
you could just have a baby.
You
and
could.
then you
I don't think
surrogate
I would
baby.
want to, but yeah, you could. A lot of women do, and power to them. It's awesome.
You want a nuclear family?
I would never necessarily be a nuclear family because my lifestyle is not nuclear.
Like
It's explosive.
full on the road circus still.
Probably.
It's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I try, obviously have to and try to rein it in and minimize, but it's part of our lifestyle in this industry. You just have to move around a lot.
That's true.
Unless you live in Texas.
Well, I gotta move. I gotta go
I'm
where the
just
work
kidding.
is too. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is probably the first thing you shot in L.A., right? Or one of the only
Yeah.
things you've shot in. I mean, I don't know exactly, but not much.
Normally you don't get to shoot at home, and go in and
Yeah.
go from work to your bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to usually stay at a hotel because you're on location somewhere. Yeah. It's nice though.
It's nice.
It's nice.
That's good. That's good. You seem happy, so that's good.
I am.
Good.
Trying to start off this new decade with a clean liver and a fresh start.
Ah, that's good. Lots of water.
Yeah.
Lots of water. Well, thanks for coming in today and
Of course, thanks for
telling us
having
about
me.
what's going on in your life, because you're killing it and you're super positive, and I love all the stuff you're posting on Instagram. I love all the health and fitness stuff you're doing. You're just, you're doing it right, and you're motivating people to get out there and be healthy and be the best version of yourself, which really is what this podcast is all about. Just being positive, because there's so much crap out there, and we're trying to just highlight people and talk to people who are doing positive stuff, and that's what we're about here at Live Life Better.
Well, we try, and everybody should try. Everyone's going to have good days and bad days, but you got to push through the bad ones to get to the good ones.
Yeah. We were talking earlier with a friend. We did another podcast, and just the thinking, right? Like starting the thinking right in the beginning of your day. Compartmentalizing. I'm doing this for me because I deserve it. I'm going to the gym, whatever it be. I'm going to yoga. I'm doing this before I go to work, whatever that is, so you can feel good, get energy, and start that positive thinking, and like continue reinforcing that. That's, I think, is really important, and it's okay to be selfish. It's okay to take care of you first, because that's going to become,
Yeah, 'cause
you're
you're
going
not
to
gonna-
become the best version of yourself.
Yeah, and you can't take care of anybody else if you're not good, if you're not okay with yourself. If you're not taking care of yourself, you can definitely not. It's like on planes.
Yeah.
They tell you to put your mask on first before assisting
Someone else.
infants. Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever had to do that? You sound like well versed in
Infants
that.
or-
No,
I-
just the whole mask on the plane. Like,
Well-
that's what you took away from that. That's interesting. Like I would never even thought about that. I remember it as a kid, like, oh, the mask coming
Well,
down and falling, but
It just stuck with me because it's true. You have to take care of yourself to be able to take care of your child, for example.
yeah.
You can't, if you're not happy and if you're not well, if something happens to you, if you get sick or whatever it might be, you're not going to be there for your baby. And so you have, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But
Very motherly of you. You're on the you're
Thank you.
stepping into this next decade very nicely.
I've always been very, very maternal. Like when my friends
Oh,
are
really?
sick, I'm the one that like takes care. Like I enjoy kind of taking care of people. But I also in the movie Then Came You in theaters on Friday. For
Uh-oh. Look at that plug.
Well, I was just actually more proud that I remembered the title this time.
It's good.
In that
Director will
movie,
like that.
I played. It's his. He changed the title 3 times. It's not my fault.
What an asshole.
He's the best. Don't say that. But yeah, so in that film, I played a flight attendant, so I had to say that and had to do that whole
Oh.
instructional video thing. So
Got
so
it.
I did cheat a little bit. I did know it
Got it.
more.
Cool. Well, shit. Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
in, and
Of course, it's fun.
keep it up, girl.
You too.
Yeah.
Good job.
All right.
Super profesh.
Well,
at
we
this.
try. Not that profesh. We're a bunch of. We're just winging it.
We have no fucking idea what we're doing.
All right, guys.